Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. Today I'd like to talk about soloing over So What. I've got a piano student named Lucy who is 15, and last month I challenged her to transcribe the first two choruses of Miles Davis's solo on So What. She came back to my house a couple days ago and blew me away playing the solo, very nicely transcribed. Transcribing is one of the best ways to incorporate the jazz language into yourself. You can come up with ideas that sound okay and ideas that'll kind of get you by, but you're not going to sound like a real jazz player until you listen hard and steal ideas from people and try to copy them. That's how you start to really swing. You can tell Lucy's still working on her swing feel. That'll come, but as she transcribes and listens more and more, half the homework I give her every time I see her is to listen to this album or listen to this song or transcribe this or see what you can notice about the background horn parts here and all kinds of listening. It's so key. I'm going to talk about what we did with Miles Davis's solo after Lucy transcribed it. And I'm going to show you some of the components in those first two choruses on So What that can help to turn you into somebody that sounds like they're playing jazz. I constructed a solo based on all of the elements I'm going to talk about today, and I want you to hear it. So I'll give it to you without any context first. I'm just playing along with the iReel backing track that you can get on your phone, the iReel app. I highly recommend it. Not only does it have like 1,200 jazz standards that you can put in any key at any tempo, but you also get backing tracks that you can play along with, and they sound fine. So here I am playing along with the backing track, trying to employ some of the elements that Lucy and I discovered from Miles Davis a couple of days ago. I know that I'm not the first person to dissect Miles Davis's solo on So What. So far from that. Everybody's talked about it because it deserves it. It's so perfect. It's like everything that you should be striving for all wrapped up into one thing. You can learn almost everything you need to know about how to improvise from this solo on So What. take the opening motif. Usually when people try to solo over So What, or impressions, or modal tunes that, use a nice minor chord, they think, I can use any of these Dorian notes. And that's right, you can. But it's so much more meaningful if you can choose the notes in a rhythm, in a pattern that is beautiful. And Miles does that. And it's so subtle and so nice and simple. But then, he doesn't just stop with it. He remembers it. That's a key right there, to remember what you just played well enough to bring it back as you keep going through your solo. So here it comes again. He takes it, right? Here's the beginning one. So he kind of takes the beginning part of it, but he adds a note in here, the F. And then he does it again. And then he does something new. And then he kind of comes back to it. And that's genius. So when Lucy was over here the other day, I said to Lucy, let's just play for a chorus. And I just gave her some easy play along. It's just kind of like this. And I just let her play whatever she wanted. I said, just do whatever you want the first time, but by the time the second time comes around, the second time through the form, I'd like you to come up with a very solid motif that you can use in the same way that Miles did in his solo. So what Lucy came up with that day was brilliant. It was this. Something like that. She just came up with these 3 notes. And I said, yep, that's it. Okay, hold on. So, and then I kept playing. I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, that is brilliant. Just about as brilliant as Miles Davis. It's great. 1, 2, ba-ba-doo-ba. But then Lucy did something like that. She kind of went away from it. And if you've followed my channel for a while, you know that I'm a proponent of not losing the motif and also not filling up the space, especially if it's the beginning of your solo. So I said, wait, Lucy, what did you play? And she's like, this? I said, that's right. I said, I want you to wait a little bit and I want you to play it again. So we did. I said, perfect. Not only did you do it again, you slightly changed the rhythm. So instead of right, da-da-do-da, she went ba-da-do-da. And that's just good instinct. I mean, yay. Then I said, good, take a break. And I play some chords. And I said, now do something a little bit different with it. Like Miles did when he went. Right, so she's got... something like that, and that's absolutely right. So I just totally encourage you to mess around playing your white notes, playing different rhythms, playing different patterns, playing what comes to your mind, what you feel at the time. And eventually you're going to stumble upon something just as simple and as pure as ba-ba-doo-da or ba-ba-da-da-da-da. And that is so important to starting your solo. Now, Lucy, she transcribed it. I said, Lucy, what are some things you notice about this solo? And the first thing she said was, well, when he's in the key of D minor, he can just play the D Dorian scale. And when he's in the key of E flat minor, he can just play the E flat Dorian scale. I said, yeah, that's right. That's one thing. So we wrote it down. The Dorian mode works. The second thing she noticed was that on the second chorus, Miles Davis takes a C triad and makes something great out of it. Let's listen to Lucy play it. Yeah, so he just basically switches his thinking from being D minor to being C major for a little bit. And he just uses these notes. see that in my solo that I constructed, I tried to use that as well. So we've got the second thing is that you can think a whole step lower and play around on a major triad, or, you know, think in the key that you're actually in, that the Dorian scale comes from, which is C. So a triad a whole step lower is a nice choice. The next thing that Lucy noticed is it happens in bar 42, is a blue note. And she said this was one of her favorite parts of the solo. And she just said that that sounds like it has a lot of soul. And I said, yeah, you're right. You know, it kind of comes from the blues scale, doesn't it? That A flat note. It's a blue note, that flat 5. And bringing it into your solo can be a way to make you sound bluesy, which is just, you know, another fundamental element to jazz anyway. You can hear in my solo where I chose to do that. Another thing Lucy noticed was that in bar 47, well, 46 and 47, is that he actually brought back his original motif. Now, I just think that that's astounding. I mean, we could think about whether or not Miles had planned out this motif ahead of time to be part of his solo, because it's really remarkable to remember it this far into the solo and bring it back. But I don't think that. I don't subscribe to that thought for a second, because I mean, for me, if I was going to remember my motif, I might not be able to do it that far into the song, but I'm not Miles Davis. Miles Davis had a keen sense of melody and of where things belong. And I just think this was the perfect spot to bring it back and to just show his genius. So yeah, he brought it back again. But then as the E flat minor chord is approaching, so we hear this. Here it comes. So it happens on the next beat, but he hits it on beat 4 really hard. And Lucy says sometimes he anticipates the coming chord. And I love that observation. So anticipating the coming key change is awesome. All of that is just kind of E flat Dorian, but nice patterns, a little triplet rhythm, which breaks things up a bit. But he's still in bar 57, he's still in E flat, but he chooses to anticipate the coming D minor, which is gorgeous. Because, it hits so hard. When the band does hit the D minor, it's like, dang, okay, here they go. When you transcribe a solo, it's so important to go back and look at the little element that you have discovered within the transcription. Otherwise, I mean, there's some merit to it. You know, Lucy can play this now, and these ideas might come out in her playing. But after dissecting it like we did, thinking about motifs, about modes, about triads, about blue notes, about anticipations. Also, I didn't mention, you know, sometimes he uses the C sharp in the D minor chord. He uses it very cleverly and a few times. So she noticed that as well. And I think I even try to put that into my solo that I created. But after that, I said, all right, Lucy, this time on this chorus, I want your motif to be strong. I want it to repeat a couple of times. I want you to take it somewhere new. And then I said, we're going to try this triad idea, this one. Right? But I said, we're going to do it in the key of E flat instead. So when we got to E flat, she had to play the D flat triad. That way we don't just take the idea and use it in one key, but we use it in the other key. And then the next time through, I said, okay, this time we're going to take that blues idea with a flat 5, that one, but we're going to put it in the key of E flat. So she had to sit and figure that out for a second. Little blues, she probably didn't come up with that one, but little blues ideas in the key of E flat, so that you don't just take Miles's idea and do it in that key, but you move it to the other key as well. So we could say that she had to come up with a powerful motif in the key of E flat as well. You know, there's so many options, so many ways to take this solo, break it apart, and make your playing better because of it. Let's listen to my entire solo one more time and see if you can pick out the elements in my solo when they happen, the elements that we talked about today. Listening is the way that you can grow fastest as a player. Listening, careful listening, transcribing, copying, and then taking what you can from what you just transcribed, noticing everything you can and trying to put it into your playing. Don't stop with the first two choruses either. You should definitely listen to everybody's solo on So What. Every single solo is a masterclass. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget you can pick up Aimee Nolte gear at my shop, the cards above your head. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.